Uh, Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the extraordinary council meeting of the 14th of May 2019, which is on the budget. I'll start by calling for any apologies.
Councillor Romano.
I've got Councillor Romano. Will someone move that for me, please?
I'll move it.
Thanks, Councillor Munro. Second, Councillor Prevotera. All in charge? In favour? Against, thank you. The council meeting is being live streamed and recorded. By speaking at the meeting, you agree to being live streamed and recorded. Please ensure that if and when you speak at this council meeting, that you ensure you're respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. The City Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this council meeting. A recording will be made for administrative purposes and will be available to all councillors. I'd like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people who are the traditional custodians of the land. I would also like to pay respect to the elders both past and present of the Wiradjuri nation and extend that respect to other Aboriginal Australians who are present. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest, significant non-pecuniary interests and less than significant non-pecuniary interests? Nope. We'll move over to, first of all, is there anything you want to...
Yeah,
I should have the...
created a budget process graphic to understand what's happening over the next 6 weeks. Tonight being the night we seek to go on exhibition.
And there is a copy of the graphs from pages 11 and 19 in colour in front of you. Item 2, General Reports. 2.1 is the Draft Delivery Operational Plan for 2019-2020 through to 2022-23.
Move put it on exhibition, Mr.
Seconded.
Move to Councillor Hamlin, go on exhibition, seconded by Councillor Munro. All in favour?
Aye.
Against?
Carried.
You can ask the question, that's it.
Can I just ask a question or a matter arising? This graphic is really a useful little document to show the process. Obviously, council, it'll go on public exhibition tomorrow.
Yep.
And the community can provide submissions. It's also got council feedback, so that's, I presume that refers to councillor feedback.
Correct.
So what will be the process? What process should we follow as councillors to provide that feedback? Will there be any briefing sessions or just a matter of putting things in writing? And if so...
Mr. Chair, we propose to hold informal briefings with you. They won't be briefings, they'll be Q&As. So if you want to get your list of questions together to us, we want to start answering them as soon as possible through exhibition and start informing you and looking at what we can and can't tinker.
Well, can I just encourage all of you, I think you may know, I put in a number of questions and some pieces I've been writing down, but I met with Jason and Jason Cook and GM. I put them in writing and they're preparing answers to those ones, which I'm quite willing to share with everybody. They're just my thoughts. They may be left field, I don't know. But I think if you have a close look, there is a lot of information in there. Please get your questions in, longhand or whatever, to the staff, and then we can all share them at a briefing session. And I think the other important thing about this process here too is that we genuinely want community input to this draft, and that's what it is. It's a draft. It's out there for 28 days. I think it's 28 days. And then with our input and what comes substantially out of community input, well, we can have a meeting, if you wish, one or two or whatever, before we've got a final document. Does that make it clear as mud, I suppose? Okay. Being nothing else, I thank you very, very much for your attendance and a safe drive home. You'll be home before the 7:30 report finishes.
Duffy's got a question, Mr Mayor.
Mr Duffy.
Just to make a couple of comments as regards to
Yeah.
a few things that I would have liked to address. And one was this actual budget process that was there. Now, as a council, if we're unhappy with that process, I believe there is a process that we can use to allow the money to keep paying the staff to while we sort out these processes that we're going to go through. Because there are some things, and there are talking about the restructure where council has to provide funding for, which I can tell you I don't feel a bar of. I'm also looking at the one of the things that I want to work with is the actual look at netting Cook Park. Get rid of the bats, to stop them coming there in the first place. Is there a cost involved in that? Because I've seen what happened down at Singleton, and how they put their way in there. And I'm sure most of the other councillors have got something they want us to talk to, but we are limited in time that we want to do something.
Oh,
And with the happenings, events of the last few weeks, I think we need to just give ourselves a little bit of time and have a
Look, I agree with you, and that's why I've got staff to
And Robson
do
Park
this.
Toilets, Mr Chairman.
I'll just interrupt. That's what I'm saying. While it's on public exhibition, it doesn't say that that's what's going to be. This gives you time to put your things in writing that you want answered, and for us to be able to all know, so we can all discuss what various people do.
The other one that I wanted to mention to you, Mr Mayor, was the Robson Park Toilets, because I've noticed there's some work going on over there, CWA, and one of the things that I asked for in the thing was the three sites to be revisited, plus others.
Any feedback there?
Sorry, Mr Chair, I believe that's actually maintenance works. I think they won a grant, Mr Morley, did they not? Yeah.
A success from the country's community.
You. Any other Councillor Taylor?
Just one comment, Mr Mayor. I think it is very relevant. As councillors would be aware, a rescission placed as far as the just the really wondering. There is budget in that.
For the ex-services pool, Mr Cook, is that in there?
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's still there, Councillor Taylor.
My next question, Mr Chairman, is just a brief one about the. I noticed in the last council meeting, significant contract that we took to build the dog pound. I'm not going to have a go at Councillor Hammond. The dog pound that comes significantly in under the budgeted thing there. I'm assuming that's going to be transferred across for us, isn't it?
Through
Into
Mr
our
Chair,
little
that was a very nicely priced tender that won. It was actually only the tender for the shed itself and the civil works. So we still have to go out to tender for the fit out of the facility. So we won't know for some months what our final budget price is. We'll be sure to tell you and talk about what's left.
Councillor McRae.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. While we're bringing to the attention of our community the important issues, I know a lot of people often comment on the fees and charges. I know pool entry is one that people often mention to me, as well as the relevant charges for hiring council facilities. So I just encourage those who are watching the live stream or our local media who are reporting, if we can encourage our members of the community to really look at those fees and charges and provide us with some guidance on what they do want to prioritise and where perhaps we should put that emphasis if we are looking at reducing any of those. And I note with interest, many people talk about how expensive it is to hire facility X, but keeping in mind that council does have to clean, maintain the power, maintain the water, ensure that the plumbing facilities for where there are toilets is up to scratch. So I'd encourage our community members to ensure they do put in any concerns regarding fees and charges, particularly for those amenities that they use in our community individually.
Sure. And if I
28
just,
days for.
that's what the 28 days for. And I think on a couple of things I've done with the media, look, I really do want to encourage them. I think we could do a story with the CWD, encouraging people to. It's both online and available downstairs to actually have a look at it. There was an interesting article on television tonight. Lithgow have just approved their budget and they've got 9.5 or 9%? They went for 11.5, but they were granted 9% rate increase. Now that is incredible.
Said it was only for this 12 months, but
Good. Look, the other one I just want to throw in before we close too, because I mentioned it the other night, is about looking at the possibilities where we could claw back some funding spent, whether in operations or in capital. Look, we've got the Department of Primary Industry building underway. They're now on the part of the old hospital site. But if you look at the remainder of that land, it's been through all the planning processes and public consultation and so forth, that it'd be worth obviously several $1 million. Through you, Mr.
another one.
Yeah, it could be worthwhile looking at putting that on the market so we can get the money and spend it where it's really needed. It's annoying, yeah. I had we had the people that are doing the construction up at the hospital site, and they're well ahead of time already. They've had a good run of weather, as you know, except that bit. And he asked, next month, they should have where the big hole's been dug at the moment, all that part of the work done, and wants to know if councillors would like to go and have a look, or they start going up. So he's going to let me know in the next couple of weeks how they're going time-wise, and I thought I'd try and arrange it probably late in an afternoon because most people are working, or early in the morning at various stages. I said it'd be hard to get everyone there in one hit because of very varying timetables, but he said he would be down here, but his construction project manager or whatever would be there for a certain time in the morning, certain time in the afternoon. They'd close any work off because it is a workplace, but take us in so you could actually physically see big pour and then what's going to happen. So most people interested in that? Okay. Rightio, I'll close the meeting at 7:14 and travel safe.
Thank you.